Shalom, shalom. This brother Kapaya Yash with a quick morning lesson just to educate our sensitive, effeminate men that want to go online and express your feeling about, some to verbally attack someone that is grieving over a loved one that just passed. A lot of Jake and also Eve as well, but we focus on Jake because you see Jake with his emotional, effeminate ass getting online and talking about another family dead one. The mother he talked about. I think he talked about somebody, brother, that died or whatever. And you know how emotional Jake, or let's just say, Judah can be. And most definitely, Jake. It was a situation in Chicago some time ago. I want to say around, I think it was during the fall, winter. That might have been the winter month. Tell you what, let me go play that video right quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I think it was. I did a video on this female from Chicago that was talking mess. As you can see right there, it said life and death is all in the tongue. You getting online, you get emotional because somebody said something about you or your family or whatever, and you got to go back and respond. You got to understand, we living in Matthew 24:12. The world is getting cold, very cold. But if you, like I said, if you've seen this video before, you already know what happened. The girl was talking junk, talking noise to another family that was grieving, and they came after her, and I believe unalived her and her boyfriend. I don't know if her boyfriend might have made it through, and guess what? She had a baby in the backseat of a car, just like this one here. I'm gonna play the video. Let's go ahead and get it. And also, this is by GMS dedication. You must accept the consequences. You must accept the consequences of your, your word. Part 2. And I'm just going to skip to the part where the young man get very emotional. Talking stuff, thinking that he's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And he ended up getting his sister unalive too off a social media feed. Said Detroit brother and sister unalive after suspect social media feud. Salakia. So let me just go to him rambling. Very emotional. Let me see.
Don't give a fuck about that nigga brothers, mamas, nobody, nigga. He shouldn't have been talking shit, nigga. So I'ma troll all day. And if y'all feel some type of way, come get trolled on too, nigga. Or y'all can get beat on, nigga. Like I said, fuck his dead baby, fuck his dead ass mama, that bitch ashes like on the tip of this blunt, or that bitch a bag of bones. Which one? Nah. And I said it. And fuck that dead ass baby too. Nah. Hey, Riri, tell her to make sure they open. I'm not playing. I'm gonna get fresh as hell today with this nigga dead ass mama on my clothes, nigga. Keep playing, I'm gonna go get her name airbrushed on me some white lows, nigga. Not playing. And I'm coming with the Pooh Safety mask on. I'm getting mine red. Tell them set up a boxing match. And whoever else feels some type of way. I don't give a fuck about that brother, that nigga brother, none of them. Nigga, my brother in jail, nigga. I don't give a fuck about that nigga brother. What they gonna do? Nothing. I'm still gonna be outside, still in the hood. Nobody ain't gonna do nothing.
Tonight, a family is planning not one, but two funerals for two siblings killed in what appears to be a targeted attack in Detroit. Thank you for joining us at 6. I'm Mike Duffy. And even more heartbreaking, a baby found alive at the scene will now have to grow up without his mother. We first brought you this double shooting on McKinney Street as breaking news last night at 6. Well, now, 24 hours later, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham is following up with the victim's family and learning why it may have been a case of wrong place, wrong time.
The victims gunned down here on McKinley Street in broad daylight had been identified by family as Ray and Takoria Rita Johnson. For their cousin, Tonia Brown, the loss is immeasurable.
That girl was like my sister. We were together every day. Like, you see her face, you see mine. She was a good spirit. She'd help anybody. She'd get her clothes off her back.
Tonia Brown says she was headed to meet her cousin, 27-year-old Rita Johnson, on Wednesday afternoon when her grandmother called, asking about rumors of a shooting. Moments later, she saw footage of Rita's car on the news.
I didn't know what to think. Like, I was just on the phone with her and telling her I was just about to come meet her in like 10 to 15 minutes to get ready for a ride-out that we were having today.
In a cruel twist of fate, Rita and her brother, 33-year-old Ray Johnson, were preparing to gather the very next day for a balloon release, marking nearly 4 years since a friend died in a car crash. Now they are being mourned. Police believe the shooting was targeted. The siblings were in separate vehicles outside of a relative's home on McKinney Street, and the suspect was on foot. That's all investigators are saying at this point. Brown believes the incident stemmed from a public feud online, a feud that Rita had no part of. What was this about?
I'm not really for sure. I just know that it was some media stuff going on. And
Social media?
Yeah. I hope this is a lesson to everybody in the world.
Would you say Rita was caught in the middle?
Yes, definitely was. She should have never even been here, just, wrong place at the wrong time.
But amid the horror, a miracle. Police say Rita's 1-month-old baby boy was in the back seat of the vehicle during the rain of bullets. He was physically unharmed.
And her baby was in the car. Like, you have no empathy, no sympathy at all.
How is the baby doing?
He's fine. By the grace of God, God protected him, and he's here, he's living. Now we have to raise this child and let him know that his mother was a wonderful woman.
Investigators do not have a suspect description yet, but they are scouring neighborhood surveillance cameras for leads as the hunt continues for Ray and Rita's killer. What is your message to the person who did this?
Justice will be brought, and I hope you think about what you did.
So, it's too many of these sensitive YNs. Even though he's 30 years old, he should know better. He lived, he lived enough to know, what you put online, it can come back to you. None of these guys or these women ain't playing with you online. These people, listen, these curses, let me go into the scripture now. Because men and women are let me go to Matthew. The Judah and Judite, ain't playing. You get online, you talk noise. Somebody have to just not respond and just let it go. Be the bigger person, right? But in this day and time, people, it's all about get back. And the Lord said, I'm your vineyard, your vengeance. I'll take care of that. Because this world is getting colder and colder. Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. We got to go back to this spirit, which, we're under the curses, and people ain't trying to, be the little guy, or I ain't trying to get punked out. I ain't no punk. You gotta let this shit go. You gotta cut off that fucking internet or the Facebook going back and forth, because that's what people outside looking in, they love the drama between, two individuals. What he gonna do? What she gonna do? Or he mad at him and he mad at what he did to his brother, and they feuding back and forth. See, at one point, man, was tender towards one another, meaning they respect, and they wouldn't dare do anything, to each other family or hurt each other family for no reason at all. This is just verbal, you know. It's just like, you got like kids, Jake, when they 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, you talk about each other, mama, it's a fight. Well, then all you got to do now, you grown, ignore that shit. If your mother's still living, he talking shit, you know who your mother is. You don't go and indulge in no confrontation, no shootout just because somebody said something verbally about your mother. That's kid shit. Deuteronomy 28:54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. And even just somebody just talking shit, you know, it can go off. And it's so bad between, Jakes, that that evil eye. You can stare at at a person, maybe because you might know their person, or you just happen to, just look at the person, and you caught his eye, he caught your eye, and then all of a sudden it's turn into something evil between y'all two. What you doing looking at me, nigga? And there you go. Same with the women. But oh boy, let me go to Proverbs 15 right quick, because this guy right here, he was loose with his mouth. Said Proverbs 15:1, and if he wanted to go back with this person, just to calm things down or whatever, instead of getting on there talking harsh about his mother, his dead brother, and all this and that, talking about, your mother, ashes look like my blunt ash, or whatever he had said. You itching for something to happen. You want something to happen, because a lot of these men, they have that feminine spirit. As a woman, you normally see women going back and forth online, like this here, talking about ain't nothing gonna happen, I'm outside and all this and that. As a man, you know how quick it can go down with a man. It's life and death. With a woman, if she fight or get in something, normally somebody gonna intervene, break it up or whatever. But when a man get out there and fight, ain't nobody gonna break it up. Ain't nobody gonna break it up. And the reason why a lot of women go online and talk men, because there's no accountability for their actions. They feel like, ain't nothing gonna happen. They always protected. Somebody gonna join in and do something, whatever. But for a man, you get online and you talk shit or whatever, it's gonna be some consequences. You have to face your accountability. Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turn away wrath, but grievous words stirs up anger. So, if he got on there and said, brother, um, forgive me if I said anything out of line. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You can take what I say for what it's worth. And just go in detail if to try to make things right, you know, and then, stop it right there. Don't go back and forth with a person that they're trying to get you there, try to get you out of your characteristic, you know. But grievous word, like I said, he talking harsh about his mama, his dead mama. You know how crazy Jake gets stirred up behind his mother. Matter of fact, it was I did a video not too long ago. I don't know if I put it out yet. Where Jake, matter of fact, I am gonna put it out because I brought it up. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I brought it out, but this Jake killed 12 people in 30 minutes behind somebody unaliving his mama. I'm telling you, Jake go crazy behind his mama, and you, get on there and you talking mad shit, cash shit, thinking shit ain't gonna happen to you. But he had that death spirit on him anyway. The Heavenly Father, probably put a spirit. Well, it ain't no probably, he did put a spirit on him to be emotional, and to, so that he can prepare. Well, I don't want to say he can compare. He can prepare, but Heavenly Father put that spirit on him to be reckless with his mouth, to stir up anger to the other guy, to pretty much send him home, back to the spirit world. Verse 2, the tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright. So a person, he's going to think before he speaks, pretty much. He's going to use soft words. He's going to be respectful. And, he's going to try to work out the situation. And then, if the brother take heed to it and listen and they can squash it, then it can be squashed. But if the brother don't take heed, he don't want to listen, then, you end the online deal with, respect. And if it come down, if you say something out of line, apologize, and then just end it, drop it, and hopefully, that way. And if not, then, if you conceal to carry it, then, you already got that man's face in your head. Once you see him, then you pretty much know what's going to go down, but as my job say, be alert and attentive, because, you're going to have wicked guys that is not going to take, I'm sorry for answering, because there's so many effeminate, men that have been raised up, in a house, in a single parent household, and they don't know how to, control their emotions, But, just, if you in a situation like that, pray to the Lord to remove that man away from you, take that spirit off of him, and hopefully, you don't have to go there with him. But anyway, it says here, but the mouth of fools pour out foolishness. And this young man, he wasn't thinking at all. He brought his sister into it, going to some type of visual of a loved one that died 4 years ago, and you put all that stuff online, like I want to say within 24 hours, and you around family. He wasn't even thinking about, should I go to my family and be outside, as they say. I might need to stay here or go across town, and stay away from my family because they looking for me. until things, calm down, or he get back online and he, apologize with her. But that's not in, these YN thought, thought process to apologize unless they have a gun up to their head, and then then they'll apologize. Then let me go to another one here. This is what this wasn't. I wasn't looking. Well, I really wasn't looking for this here, but the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So what you already have set in mind to say or want to say, whatever. The answer is from the Lord. He's going to put a spirit of wickedness in you to be to have the perverse spirit to say grievous stuff, or he can put a righteous spirit in you and say some uplifting things or soft words to give to a person to change their mind. But let me that's all in the spirit of the Lord. Let me just go I think it's 18. Proverbs 18 and 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So there you have it. His mind. He had a pretty much a child / female state of mind. He didn't think shit can happen. He didn't care. Number one, he didn't care about his life. He didn't care about none of his family members' life, because if he did something with ain't no if he did verbally assault somebody's family, and obviously he knew this guy's mother and brother, and this guy probably lived up the street 2 blocks or whatever, and he just a lot of brothers need to control their emotion. That right there was going to get you in a world of trouble. Control your emotions. And a lot of our brothers can't. And it's sad and it's true. A lot of our brothers, YN, or, he's in his 30s, so I guess they call him Unc or whatever. Been raised up in single parent home in the project. And when you go online, you see how our sisters act, how, how they just fight like animals. You don't see too many guys. I mean, like, you might see a group of 20 women fighting, just off of word of mouth. When they get in their spirit, I don't give a damn, or I see red, or they just react off everything. And a lot of these single parent women fight with their children either on their chest, or they sit them down, and their kids, they sit back and watch their mama just fight out in the street. This is where the young boys get it from. Now, don't get me wrong, you got these YNs acting crazy and shooting going on. Guess where they get it from? Single parent mother. Now, in some instance, yeah, you can blame the father. But if the father can't have control of that woman using the system against him to throw him in jail, or he have no place to go, and she kick him out, sooner or later that guy, he ain't gonna be putting up with that. And a lot of these single parent women keep the father away from their son when they upset, especially if it's behind another woman. So, that's different verbals, to every situation. It ain't always the man's fault, and a lot of time it's not always the woman's fault, but in this situation, whoever raising the child is going to point at you. It's going to point at you because this is where he's learning from the emotion side of this situation. He's strong as a man, but for his strength wise, emotionally, he's weak like a woman, and he's gonna crash out every damn time, and he's gonna be reckless with the mouth. Again, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So he loved speaking death on people. Death came by him. He didn't. He probably did think, that something might go down, but he didn't care. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, let me see what this said. He that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto Yahweh the Lord belong the issue from death. So let me go here. Once it's in just bear with me. Might be Ephesians. Let me go 8 maybe. Like I said, he thought he was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. He thought nothing's going to happen to him. It says that Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, because sentence against an evil word is not executed speedily. He's online. He feel comfortable talking his trash online because he feel ain't nothing gonna happen. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Just like what say, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. I'm gonna be outside. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me, right? Therefore, the heart, talking about the mind of the sons of men, is fully set in them to do evil. So by him being comfortable in his skin online, talking shit, he's comfortable at home. He feel there ain't nothing gonna happen. And you got brothers, they be outside literally on FaceTime talking mess and thinking nothing gonna happen. Don't listen, you can't put nothing past Jake. You gotta take Jake seriously. But too many of our men thinking that, like I said, they think they 10 feet tall and bulletproof and can't nothing happen to them. And the Heavenly Father put that spirit of delusion on you to think that way. A righteous man don't, he gonna have his mind focused on the Lord for protection to deliver him out of wicked niggas like him. We're gonna turn to the Lord. The Lord, he's our avenger. You know, a righteous man, especially in the truth, he ain't gonna go back and forth on FaceTime or Facebook and talk about somebody dead one. You know, no, because we know it can go there. Verse 12, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be wise with them that fear the Lord, which fear before him. So you have a wicked man, that will constantly do his dirt, and let's say, nothing didn't happen. Now he feel that, he feel like he got a metal jacket all over his body, you know, until that day happened. But a wise man, he's not going to think like that. He's not going to be perverse with his mouth, forward with his mouth, prideful with his mouth, Mr. Badass. Uh-uh. 13, but it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he fear not before Yahweh. So, number one, he don't fear the Lord, because if he did fear the Lord, he wouldn't be online doing that. He got it in his mind, I ain't no punk. Fearing the Lord and doing something righteous, he feel that's weak. He go along with what the world think, think of being a man or a gangster. I ain't trying, like I said, I ain't trying to be no punk. I ain't no punk. And you see what happened to him. So it was something else I wanted to get. Let me pull this out, then I'm gonna end it. This will be my last one, but also to the sister. What is it? Job 7 and 9. Whoever dies being innocent, or where did the righteous get cut off? She got caught up with her brother's foolishness, but she wasn't innocent. And people worldly eyes today, just like her cousin, would say, that she would give the clothes off her back or whatever. It's a good gesture, but she wasn't innocent. She got, caught up in judgment, and she had to pay for that, and right on with her brother. So, Ecclesiastes 9 and 12, for man also knoweth not his time, as the fishes that are taken in an evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare. So are the sons of man snared in an evil time. A man walking in disguise spotted him, or knew his goings, that he was going to go to meet up with his family. People put everything on social media, and he found where they was, where his family was located. He probably was known, and the man on foot came while they, didn't know, and the young man, or Ankh should have been more alert and attentive with all that big shit that he was saying. He should have been, his head should have been on a swivel. But the Heavenly Father put a spirit on him. Ain't nobody gonna do anything to me. Mr. Badass. Until the spirit of vengeance came up and popped you and her. So we go back to this. So are the sons of man snared in the evil time, when it fell suddenly upon them. So, It fell suddenly upon them when they was, when they had a mindset on celebrating a loved one that died 4 years ago. You know, so that brother, pretty much had his sister set up to be ambushed right along with him, and him not knowing that it was going to happen that day, that time, it catches up with you. So you got to watch your mouth, because judgment can come up on you very fast. So I'm gonna end it right there, Shalom.